So I read the verse one more time. O best of the intelligent demigod, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. So I will recite a few prayers to attract some blessings in the delivery of this lecture. Those who know the prayer, you can join me. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Padambujo Radha Madana Mohano Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master, who is the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes. Therefore, I offer him my most humble obeisances. So in today's verse, the Lord is telling to the demigods, there are actually two main points coming up on the verse today. One is said that actually for those who are pleasing me, the Lord speaking, those who are able to please me, nothing is actually impossible to obtain. Everything can be obtained. And then the second part of the verse is said, but my pure devotees, they don't ask anything for themselves. They just want to be connected with me, they just want to serve me with love and devotion. So those are two different points. I decided to choose the point of that all desires can be fulfilled when the Lord is pleased with us, and nothing difficult to obtain. Nothing is difficult to obtain for one who can please the Lord. Imagine you could now ask for anything you want and it will be fulfilled. That would be quite interesting, huh? That would be, I think we all will have a good list of things we would like to be fulfilled. And this is what the Lord himself is saying. It's not Mr. ABC saying, oh yeah, just please me, all your desire will be fulfilled. It's the Lord himself saying that. So there is some weight into this statement, and it is true. It is true. Believe it or not, it is true. All desires can be fulfilled when the Lord is satisfied with us. So I hope that today we will develop more faith that this statement is true, and that we will have also some desire to transform our own desire, because our desires can be fulfilled when the Lord is pleased, but maybe we have desires that are not so good, and that might actually not bring us into the right direction. So there will be also something about finding out what are our desires and maybe how to purify them or transform them. So we will see that how Krishna fulfills all desires. That's the first part. We will see of what should we pray for, and we will see at the end how to please God so that actually our desires will be fulfilled So first on Krishna can fulfill all our desires. We'll elaborate a little bit on that because we can see it from a few different perspectives, and yeah, it's interesting to look at those perspectives. So in the basic, in the ground, we are all spiritual souls, and this is the nature of the soul, to have desire. We cannot kill desire, we cannot stop desire. Desire will always be there, it's a symptom of the soul. So as long as we are soul, which is forever, because we are eternal, desires will be there. So the desires will actually move us into a certain direction. According to the desire we will have some thoughts on these desires, and then some action, and then some reaction. These are actually the four stage: desire, reflection, so the desire pop up, then you might think, okay, will I fulfill it or not? Is that good or not? And then you do the action, and then you get some reaction out of the action that was done. So then from the desire, we will be moving in different direction in our lives. So the desire are actually at the essence of everything we are doing in this world. And there is explanation that the Lord is in the heart of everyone. His form is called Paramatma. He's there inside of the heart of everyone, and he's actually fulfilling the desires of everyone. So that you please the Lord or that you don't please the Lord, He is there and He fulfill the desires, but He fulfill the desires according to what you deserve, according to your karma, according to all the activities that you have done before. If you deserve it, the Lord will fulfill the desires. But if you don't deserve it, it will not work. It will not fulfill the desire. So this is like for everyone in the world. It works like this. If you have, let's say, if you did some good pious activity in the past, then you have some good credits, and you have much chance that actually your desires will be fulfilled. Some of them. So this is the Lord in the heart who will decide. But for someone who tries to please the Lord, that was before for everyone. But those who try to please the Lord, then the Lord can make the impossible possible. So there the Lord can actually make that all his desires become fulfilled. So one thing also to be considered is sometimes the Lord is fulfilling the desire, but not immediately. Sometimes we feel, okay, I have the desire, now it should come, but sometimes the Lord is going to fulfill our desire, but sometimes not immediately. And there is a very nice story that many of you might know already, the story of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva was a small boy, and he was a prince. His father was the king, and at that time kings had many wives. So Dhruva was the king of one of the wives, but the king had another wife that he preferred. And this wife that he preferred was very possessive, and she wanted only person to be really like in the center. So once Dhruva Maharaj wanted to go on the lap of his father, and the other wife was there. She said, you go down, you don't have the right to sit on your father's lap. Only my son can sit on the father's lap. And Dhruva felt extremely hurt. And he went and he cried, and he asked his mother, what should I do? What should I do? And the mother said, well, you cannot do much. What to do? This is life. I mean, and he wanted to take revenge. And the mother said, no. She said, my dear son, don't wish anything inauspicious for others. Because if you do that, if you inflict pains to others, you will have to suffer this same pain. So don't try to revenge the situation. But he was just so disturbed. He said, I will not do them harm, but I want something bigger than what they have. And he developed the desire, I want a kingdom bigger than my father and than everyone else. So now he had a desire. And he said to his mother, how will I fulfill my desire? The mother knew. She said, you have to ask God. You have to please God. You have to ask and please God, and your desire will be fulfilled. So Dhruva said, okay, where is God? Tell me. I want to meet him and ask him for fulfillment of my desire. So it was very, very already long ago. It was well known you will find God in the forest, where everything is secluded, and there where everything is peaceful, you can find God. So the boy left, he was 5, 6 years old, very young, left for the forest. And the entire kingdom, the father and everyone, no, what is happening with this boy? So he went there, but he did not know anything, what to do, but he wanted to find God. And that's something that is very relevant when the desire is inside to find the absolute. Then the Lord organized that we get a guide, a guru. So he sent Narada Muni, a great saint. Narada Muni came and saw the boy and said, what are you doing here? He said, I'm ready to meet God. I have a big desire. And Narada Muni said, come on, you are so young. You're in the middle of the forest. You should be playing. You should be playing with your friends. What are you going to do? He said, I will do austerities. And Narada Muni said, no, come on. Go home. Too young. And so he was actually testing Dhruva, which actually often the spiritual guide, will test the disciple to check, are you serious? And Dhruva say, okay, you are a saint. If you want to help me, stay here, you can help me. If you don't want to help me, if you just want to discourage me, you can move forward. I will stay here alone. Okay, Narada Muni understood, okay, he's serious. So he gave him instructions, and very, very interesting instruction. He said, you have to go to a particular place, and that was on the side of Yamuna River. Yamuna Tira Vanachari, what we sing just now is Yamuna, that's a holy river. You go to the holy river Yamuna at a place called Madhuvan, and there you will do some austerities, but I will give you a mantra that you can chant. This is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the one that we chant before starting the lecture. And he gave him a process of meditation also. He said, you will close your eyes and you will meditate on the form of the Lord. And here I have actually just a few sentences. So Narada described the form of the Lord to Dhruva, and he said, you have to meditate because the Lord looked like this. He knows Narada Muni. So he said, the Lord has a beautiful face, a pleasing attitude, his lotus eyes. He has beautiful lotus eyes, a raised nose, and is extremely beautiful. He is always smiling. The Lord is always youthful. His perfect body, his sleep, and his perfect body. His body is perfect, sorry. His lips are pink, like the rising sun. He always gives shelter and blessing. The nails of his lotus feet are glittering. So he said, you meditate on that way. You close your eyes and you see the Lord inside of you in that particular way and chant the mantra. And that's what Dhruva Maharaj did. And he started to get a lot of power. And he even did also a lot of austerity. He stopped to eat, he stopped to drink, and then he even stopped to breathe. And when he stopped to breathe, there was like the whole universe started to suffocate. And he was very powerful, very determined. So all the demigods, they went to the Lord. The girl cannot breathe. Please do something with this boy. He's blocking the breathing of the entire universe. So then the Lord appeared to him and said, okay, you have pleased me very much with all your practice, and what do you want? And at that time, Dhruva was in front of the Lord, and he felt, oh my God, my desire to have a big kingdom was useless, was stupid. The Lord is so beautiful and it's so nice to be with him. Why did I have such a desire? So the Lord said, actually, I knew that you had desire and that you wanted to do all that to have a bigger kingdom than your father. I will give it to you. I will give it to you and you can rule it for many, many years. And at the end of that, you might come back to me. And then Truva was lamenting, oh no, why did I had this stupid desire? Because then the Lord disappeared. And then, oh no, why did I have this stupid desire? Now I have to rule and to do all of that and I cannot be with my Lord anymore. So this is actually a story that shows that according to our desire, when we please the Lord, the desire will be fulfilled. But if the desire is not the best, then we might regret it. And so therefore, we want to go to the second part of the lecture of what should we desire for? Or how will you say, should we pray or desire everything? Should we pray to the Lord that He fulfills everything for us? And there is a verse from Bhagavatam that is actually quite famous. And the Lord said, actually I can sing the Sanskrit because it's beautiful. Akama karma samova mokshakami udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence might be us. Whether he be full of material desire, without any material desire or desire for liberation, he must by all means worship the Supreme Lord, the personality of God. So this verse says, desire, no desire, material desire, no matter, you should actually approach the Lord and please the Lord for fulfillment. And that's actually a very, very nice point. Even if we have material desires and we approach the Lord for fulfillment of the material desire, it's actually a high level. Say, oh no material desire, only spiritual desire. Okay, we want to go have more and more spiritual desire so that you are pushed in the spiritual direction. But already when we have material desire, already the state of turning toward the Lord for the fulfillment is actually curbing our ego. We are already understanding I cannot do it on my own. Therefore, I'm praying for it. I'm approaching the Lord. So this is actually a very healthy beginning, let's say, even if we have material desires. When we read Bhagavatam, there are some chapters that ends like anyone who has read this chapter will attain wealth. So even the Bhagavatam is giving like material boon that one can obtain after reading such a book. Now, why is it so? So that even if people have such a desire of wealth, they will feel encouraged to read it, and when they read it, they will become purified, and their desire will also transform by the association with the Bhagavatam. So already to pray to the Lord, we are curbing our ego and we are actually becoming purified through this. So even if we have material desire, we should actually learn to connect them with God as far as possible and pray to the Lord. This is like the recommendation. There was one man, Adipusha was explaining his story. He was a professional gambler. He was playing cards or casino or I'm not sure what, but he was earning his life by gambling. And then he met devotees and he became attracted to Krishna consciousness. And then the devotees say, wow, you should give it up, it's not good, it's not a regulative principle is broken by that, better you stop. But he was very attached to that and it was his livelihood. So he continued doing it. But he decided, any party I will do, I will offer it to the Lord. Every party I will do, before I do, I will say, my Lord, I will play now for you. And he did so, and after a few years, he totally lost the taste of gambling. After a few years, he just, okay, let me find another job and transform my life. So that's an example, even something that is actually not favorable. He was connected to the Lord. Like Prabhupada once gave a lecture where there were some drunkards and in the audience, and he could see that, and he said, if while you drink wine, you remember the wine is coming from Krishna, then it's positive. Keep drinking. Just remember, it's given by Krishna, or it's the taste that Krishna gave. The taste that you have is given by the Lord. So that's it. No matter what, we try to learn. Okay, I have material desires, but I will try to connect them to some way to the Lord. I think Guru Maharaj was saying he always had desire to go in Afghanistan and travel and like this, and then he became a devotee and he forgot about his desire, and then after a few years he found himself doing some preaching service in Afghanistan, and then, then he remembered, oh my God, I wanted always to go in Afghanistan. Now the Lord has fulfilled my desire. I mean, I'm doing now spiritual activities, but still the desire that we have, many of them might be fulfilled. Therefore we need to check out. So this is actually when is the switching point of our desire? How our desire gets turned or switched from material desire to spiritual desire, and this is when we come in association with spiritually minded people, and especially with a spiritual master or those who are very advanced in the path. When we are in contact with them, suddenly the desires will change. We will start to develop spiritual desires just by association. We were reading yesterday from the 11th canto. There is a discussion between Krishna and Uddhava, and Krishna is going to leave the planet, and Uddhava is supposed to stay there. So Krishna gives him instruction, and he said, association with devotee, most important. You can do austerity, yagya, you can do so many things, but if you are with the devotees, your desire will transform and your life will go in the direction of the desires. So this is actually the way to reverse the desire, by association with spiritually minded people. And then at the end, how to please God? Okay, let me ask you, how to please God? Marcus, how will you please God today?
Chant his names.
Chant his names. Okay. Tatvadashini. Cook something nicely for him. Katarina, what will you do today to please God? Okay. Luis? Okay. Okay. Very good. I mean, I don't ask all of you, but you all know very well. One answer is actually following his instruction. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord gives a lot of instructions, and by following this instruction, he will naturally be pleased. And there are many, many instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, like you should be tolerant from the dualities of this world. You should see everyone as equal, not discriminate, he's better, he's lower, he's my friend, he's my enemy, seeing everyone as equal, but like more a vision. There are many. You should be detached from the fruit of your activity. You act, but you don't get attached to the fruit of what you are doing. Many, many instructions. But then he's coming also into the bhakti realm where he says, offer everything that you do for my pleasure, always think of me, become a devotee, and so on and so forth. So there are many instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, and by following them, we are actually going to please the Lord. One that is actually very important is actually to be kind with all living entities. That comes actually with the vision that everyone is part of God, everyone is a child of God, children of God. So when we can actually deal in a very nice and respectful way with all living entities, that's also very, very pleasing to the Lord. I read a verse a few days ago, also from Bhagavatam, 7th canto, that says that like the hands, the arms, the legs, they are all independent parts, but they are all part of the whole body. So in the same way, the devotees of the Lord, actually it was from Chaitanya Bhagavat, I read it, all the devotees, they are like part of the Lord, and we should see them as actually part of the Lord, as like non-different and the Lord, because they are the part of the Lord. Okay, and then whatever activities we will do it, you are mentioning cooking for the Lord, doing service for the Lord. What is the element that is most important in the activity you will do? Okay? Yeah, the attitude. The attitude. I found another verse where Narada Muni speaks, and he gave a very nice analogy. Narada Muni said also to Uddhava, without love, the 9 kind of devotional service are like vegetables without salt, an elaborate meal without hunger, studying of the scriptures without understanding, or a garden without fruits. It is salt which brings out the quality of in vegetables. It is hunger which makes a meal attractive. And it is the understanding that makes your reading fruitful. In the same way, it is affectionate love which makes bhakti attractive, relishable, and also fruitful. So this is something often we forget. And if we want to please the Lord, there is this. I mean, He might be pleased even if we do an activity, but what makes really the difference is the attitude while doing our activities. And for that, we want to tune ourselves before we do an activity to pray and meditate. Okay, I will do this for you, my Lord. And that's the key of bhakti. That's the secret of bhakti. No matter what we do a garland, we do gimmicks, whatever we do, we remember, I'm doing that now for your pleasure. I want to please you, I do that for your pleasure. That should be our constant meditation during the day, during everything we are doing. Even when we take our shower, when we eat, we can meditate on now giving energy in my body and spiritual energy because it's spiritual food, and I wish my body will be strong so that I can do nice service. And everything we do to connect and dedicate it to the Lord, which makes it very easy. You don't need to be a monk or live or quit everything. You can do it everywhere with everything. Just reconnect and just try to do it for the pleasure of the Lord. Because when the Lord is pleased, He will fulfill all desires. And I like to end with a little story, very easy story of a lady in India. She was very old, and they usually in villages like this they don't have electricity, so they cook and they get some light from fire, making fire. So they have every day to go to the forest and get some wood to bring at home so that they can cook and have a little light in the evening. So often you see them actually having like a big bundle of wood. It's not like the thick, the smaller one, but like big, and they carry that, and sometimes even old ladies are carrying that. So that was the case of a very old lady who was having this wood on her head, and then somehow while going home she was alone and she stumbled, and the wood fell down, and she was by now quite exhausted. So she was trying to put the wood back on her head, but she did not have the force anymore. So she prayed to the Lord, my dear Lord, please help me, I have to get this wood, please help me. So the Lord appeared to her and said, how can I help you? And she saw the Lord and she said, can you please put the wood on my head so that I can bring it home? So the Lord did so. And as she was walking, and she realized what happened, she said, oh, how foolish, I could have asked him much better than just put the wood on my head. The Lord is happy. So that's a small innocent story that shows that yeah, we should check out what our desires and transform them so that our desire becomes spiritual desires, and then our life can go in a spiritual direction. And we are often in this middle part where we have both some spiritual desires, some material desire inside, and it's sometimes like a fight inside. Should I want to go right, but I'm pushed to go left, so I'm still not ready. And like this, and I end with that of my spiritual master who had a dream once of another spiritual master who had just left his body. Bhaktitirtha Swami was his name. And he had a dream, he had left his body already and he dreamed of him. And in the dream, this friend of him came and said, I have a question to you. My spiritual master was, oh Marge, where are you? What is happening? And answer my question, I have a question to you. I was very serious. My spiritual master said, okay, what is the question? And he said, in your heart, there are two dogs. And they are fighting with each other. Which one will win? Spiritual master, I don't know, I cannot think. I'm just so amazed to see you answer my question. I don't know. And then Bhakti-tirtha Swami gave a very nice answer. Because those two dogs is like the two sides inside of us, the good side and the bad side, who are always in conflict. So Bhakti-tirtha Swami said, the dog to whom you give food is the one who will win. Meaning that the side, if we give food to the good side of ourselves, then this side will win. It will become bigger and bigger and bigger. But if we keep giving food to the bad side of ourselves, then this one will grow and will not go in the right direction. So that's more or less what I was trying to speak today. It was about the Lord can fulfill all desires, and we were exploring this area, how the Lord is actually doing that when we want to please Him. In the heart, He will fulfill desires according to if we have the capacity or not to fulfill this, or let's say the eligibility according to our previous activities. But when we try to please Him directly, then He's ready to fulfill all desires. Even story where Krishna was bringing back dead people to life when he was on this planet Earth with the children of his spiritual master. And then we heard about the changing, transforming our desire, that even if we have material desire, it's no problem, already connected. If you pray for it, it's already like purifying them. And then, can someone please close the door of the puja department, please? And then the last part, how to please the Lord, which is, thank you so much, which is actually quite simple. Just connect all what you do for the pleasure of the Lord. Very simple. Just try to meditate. I do that for your pleasure. And there was this story of, it was a volunteer, like both of you, who came into one temple. It was not our temple, and the volunteer got the service of cleaning the temple room in this other temple. And the devotee who explained how to clean the temple room said, do you believe in God? He asked. And the volunteer said, I don't know, 50-50. And the devotee said, I would like you to make an experiment. Would you like to do an experiment? And the volunteer said, okay, why not? Let's try. So that was a girl. And the devotee said, while you clean the temple room, you can think, my dear Lord, maybe you exist, maybe not. I will still clean the temple room for your pleasure. You are there or not, maybe yes, maybe not. I will still try to do it for your pleasure. And then she said, okay, I can try. That was the advice of the devotee. And then half an hour later, the devotee came to the temple room and he saw this lady sitting on a chair and crying. And he went and asked, everything okay? Did someone speak bad words to you or anything wrong? And she said, I did like you said, and I felt the presence of the Lord so strong in my heart. And I felt so moved, and I felt, I don't even believe in Him. And he has revealed Himself to me. And then she was crying. She had been moved. So even, actually, we don't need to be so advanced. Even if we just theoretically try it out. Okay, I do it for your pleasure. The Lord might appear and give us some mercy and give us a sign. Good. So I stop here. Do you have any questions? Any comments? Okay, I see that Vadashini is actually usually they are happy to have microphones, but anyway, next time I don't know if it there or there, and then we might have to make the volume. You know how to put the volume?
I will try.
Okay. You can switch on the microphone first. Yeah, exactly. She's just so qualified. Ananda Mai is, but it might be a little loud. It sounds, maybe you don't keep it too close to your mouth.
Hi, Krishna. So it was very interesting. And on one hand, yeah, I believe in this, that Krishna can fulfill all our desires if we satisfy him. On the other hand, so far I was always also convinced that Krishna is like a mother or father. When a child has a desire, and sometimes when you know it's dangerous for the child or it's really not good, so they will say no, even though it's their heart's desire to fulfill it. So in this way, I know all the time, okay, maybe Krishna is not fulfilling when he says it's not good for me. So can you a little bit explore this
Thank you.
perspective?
Yeah, thank you. It's nice. They are actually, I found a quote yesterday when I was preparing the lecture where the Lord said, especially if my devotee, he wants something that is detrimental for him, why should I fulfill his desire? I will, but sometimes he fulfills the desire in a way that we will never again ask for such a things. So we might have a bad desire, and Krishna will still fulfill it, but in a certain way that we will feel totally disgusted with this desire, and we will never ask for it again. But sometimes he might also. But actually, that's what I found. Maybe he will fulfill it, but he will fulfill it in a way that actually you will never ask again. But he is the supreme independent. He is actually the one who is supremely independent. And he has the choice also to decide. And he might, yes, he is fully independent. That means he can do everything the way he feels is the best for the living entity. So for his devotees, those who try to please him, he might sometimes fulfill it in a way that will not be, that he will not ask for such a thing. He might also not fulfill it as well because he is the supreme independent. But here he's telling everyone, please me, everything can be obtained. So, yeah, sometimes it's a little, let's say, it's beyond our understanding or beyond our vision because it's on the transcendental level. But that's what I could say on that. Is that good? Yeah,
Lecture, and you said that we can transform also our desires when we serve spiritual master. And in the morning we are singing Purvashtakam, Samsara Brahman Yoga, and it means like we are living in the world which is like a
forest fire.
Yeah, fire, and the spiritual master is like a cloud with rain. So my question is it real for us to live this material desire without spiritual master, without
I mean, it's almost, I mean, we can see it two ways. One way is it can be the spiritual master, but the other way it can be the devotees. There might be not be our guru, our initiated guru, but the devotees can already help us to have this transformation of desire, even if it's not the initiating spiritual master that is there. And for example, for me, when I found spiritual books and I was reading books, I could already start to make progress in the spiritual dimension, even though I did not even know the master who wrote the book. but I was in connection with this transcendental knowledge. And then I read Prabhupada books, and I was actually guided by Prabhupada through his books. So he was already like my spiritual master without me, actually, without having like the real acceptance of the spiritual master. So in one sense, as soon as we are in contact with spiritually minded people or spiritual scriptures or like this, we already get guidance and we are already some desire change. Already we start to get some desire. I remember when I read the first book I read, spiritual book, was on Vipassana meditation, and it was explaining how good it will be. Wow, I just started it. I just went in the evening in the forest and started to breathe, and because I read it and I got convinced, yes, here is a higher type of pleasure that I'm looking for. So in one sense, with the spiritual master, let's say the one you accept as a spiritual master, then the power of blessings and the strength of making advancement is much stronger, because there is like a connection. You are directly connected to the spiritual line of Guru and his disciples. So it's much stronger, but it can be done even before formal initiation through actually the carrier of this knowledge and this understanding of actually the devotees. But I'm not sure if I understand, if I answer what you wanted to, if I catch the question. It's okay? Okay. So then we'll stop here. Thank you for your attention. And let's try today to please the Lord best we can. Remember Him and dedicate our activities to Him. And let's see what desire He will fulfill. Kanantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.